So conditions today are a little windy, as you can probably see. Barometer is a little low. Got some storm clouds in the background there. Hoping today the fish are going to turn it on for us. But come with us. We're going to throw a few lines out, see if we can find some of those big girls out on North Pine. Let's go have an adventure. So today we're going to start off with a bit of trolling. Going to see if we can find some of these guys, locate them on the sounder, and then zero in with some jigs and blades. Once we find those schools, hopefully we can sort our way through the little fish and wind up with the big girls. The ultimate today is a 50 plus bass on a vertical jig. Let's see how we go. It's the middle of summer, baby. Unsettled conditions, hot days today. Let's see what North Pine has in store for us. A quick glance at the sounder, and the water temperature is upwards of 30 degrees. 30.8, nearly 31 degrees. That's extremely hot. And even for the bass, they're going to be looking for a more sheltered place, somewhere that's going to be out of the wind, where it's not driving that warm surface water up into the shallows. So we've got a northerly wind or northwesterly wind blowing at the moment. We're going to head over that end. We've got to keep an eye on our water temp and see how well it drops, because that, I reckon, is where we're going to find the fish, where they're a little bit more comfortable in a bit cooler water. Let's go see. It's just a theory. Let's check it out. So we've just managed to hit the middle of the dam, and the water temperature has actually come down to just a shade under 30 degrees. So that's almost 1 degree difference than the other side of the dam. So as that top layer of water heats up and gets pushed by the wind, it gets pushed up into those arms. Now normally if you're chasing species like barramundi and things like that, that's actually a great thing, because the warmer the water, more oxygenated, more food, more bait. That's generally how it works. So therefore that's your food source, and the fish will actually flock there. But sometimes the water can be too hot, and it gets to the stage where some of these more like southern species like bass are going to want something a little bit cooler. 30 degrees is getting a bit much, and if you have a look, you can see in the deep water, like 22 meters, you can see the fish hanging low. So they're actually sitting down in that cooler water below that thermocline. So essentially we're waiting until the day sort of wears on a little bit, and those fish will move from the deeper water up into the more shallow areas, become a little bit more accessible to us, unless we can find a school that's eating and we can drop some jigs on them. But let's give it a go. So if you have a look at the sounder, you can see we've found these guys sitting over here on the northern banks. There's about 7 meters of water, and you can see the screen is full of these guys. So again, temperature is a little bit less than what we expected before, but seems as though we're on the fish. So let's see if we can get some jigs happening. And that didn't take long. And there we go. A lovely little bass taken on that jig spinner. So they tend to love these things, and they'll inhale them, and you can see I've got a wicked jig, one of the skull drag wicked jigs on there, with a flaccid shad and a bit of a beetle spin outfit, and these guys absolutely love it. So when they're in this schooling, a little bit of a flash makes all the difference. See you later, buddy. So the vertical jigging with these guys is pretty simple. You're just basically letting it free spool until it gets down close to the bottom. Now it's probably then not going to take, sometimes they'll grab it on the way down, and the line will actually stop before you're ready, before you think it should. Then generally it's a good idea to actually strike. So once that's happening, give it a couple of jigs, a nice slow retrieve. Oh, there's a couple of bumps. Oh, and there we go. They're an absolute sucker for it. And the little skull drag 1 to 3 kilo we've got happening here, and you can see there's a lovely little school bass that's come straight out of that school. So absolute suckers for that type of presentation. And you can have, even though they're not big fish, you can have a hell of a lot of fun with these guys. There's plenty of catching, one up to the other, after the other. And there we go. Alright, Sonny. And they love doing halos. See you, buddy. Alright, let's get that back down there again. It's got a lot to do with the actual beetle spin and how it actually flutters down and really attracts their attention, and they seem to love that thing, and they'll just come straight back up and inhale it. And the soft plastic obviously works a bit the same. We've drifted off the school a little bit here, but we'll see how we go. Again, letting it drift all the way down until it pretty much gets to the bottom. We're in about 10 metres of water now, so we've drifted off the ledge a little bit. So we're going to move ourselves up a little bit. Oh, and there's another hit. So when you get a hit, just going to drop it back down again. You can see that's actually stopped and he's on. It actually didn't get to the bottom. Again, awesome fishing. And you can see these guys. And there he is. Maybe a little better this time, about 35. So nice sized little bass. And a hell of a lot of fun. Now with this type of fishing, when you're dealing with soft plastics like this where you haven't got swing and treble hooks, I love to use the Overlord, just only because it's not going to pick up those extra hooks. And there you go, another lovely bass. Number 3, yeehaw. Cracking and stacking. And they're an absolute sucker for that jig spinner. Absolute sucker. Hey, little skull drag rod. She's bending. Okay. You can see those little penetrating jig hooks, they really hook in. They're a thin wire, so they penetrate really well. Gets right in there. See you, buddy. So awesome combination with the flathead shad, and as you can see, racking up one after the other. Oh, and slightly better. This one darting all over the place, not finished yet. There we go. A little bit better in size. Again, loving that flaccid shad from Chase Baits. Getting a little bigger. See you, buddy. Little fella's got his head down. There we go. That's not a bad sized bass, is it now? We have a look at this guy. One of the great things about the Overlord is you can unhook these guys, put them back in the water, and they are good to go. So, that, my friends, is far too easy. So let's try something a little different. We're going to go basically to a fixed blade. Again, same sort of situation. Going to drop that down in amongst the schools and vertically jig that back up again. That was a hit on the way down, and there he is, he's on. So it goes to show you that these little fish are absolutely on fire. And he's starting to play up there now. Coming up. And there you go. And that guy didn't even let that hit the bottom. He jumped on it. This one feels a little bit more solid. Might have a bit more go to him. I've upped the drag a touch. Normal size, around about that 35 to 40 centimetre mark. Not a bad bass, just the same, as you can see, but not really those 50s that we were chasing. So you can see, a lovely afternoon out, that high overcast, which means the fish are biting early. It's just about 4 o'clock. Now normally in the middle of summer you're not going to see these guys in such an active feeding mode because it's normally really hot about this time. We've had some awesomely wicked hot days, upwards of 35 degrees. It's heated the water at temperature right up to the point where these guys are ready to go on the chew. Cool day, overcast conditions. They're free to move around in the shallows a little bit more because it's not as glary on their eyes. Man, these guys are turbocharged and ready to go. We're just going to find some bigger girls, that's all. You can see these guys down here on the sounder. That's actually stopped mid-water. Didn't actually even get to the bottom before it got a hit. So you can see these guys. So essentially all we're trying to do is once we're close to the bottom, and we're just going to winch straight up like that. Now you'll feel them bump it along the way as they go, and then dropping it straight back down again. It's all about staying right on the mark. So you can see we've drifted right off over here. All the action's up over here. Oh, and maybe slightly better fish. Maybe not. The only thing about using blades is when you're getting these guys off, you really do need to be that little bit more careful, like that you don't end up with one of those swinging trebles in your fingers, because that has a tendency to ruin your day. Alright, so you can see, again, that is just a blade from BCF. It's one of the Savage gears. You can see when you've got arcs like this happening here, it doesn't take too much to get them active and hunting, and we're just dropping that straight down on top of them. And you'll be ready to clamp your finger on that if you start to see it run away, because sometimes they will. And like, just like that. Oh, maybe a bit better. Oh yeah. There we go. This could be a better fish. He's up to seeing range. It is a better fish. Come up here, son. Oh, he's starting to play up there now, right under the boat. Two hooks securely in. That is a great bass. That's starting to get up towards what we're looking for. Again, hit that one as it was on the move. Fantastic. Again, that little vibe, and what a fat, awesome fish that is. Well there, sunshine, you're going the wrong way. See you, buddy. So, as much fun as it is with these types of jigs, I'm going to go back to the lighter gear and have a bit more of a play around with this guy. This is a heck of a lot of fun, and one single hook does a little less damage to the fish as well, which means obviously getting the hook out and getting them back in the water quickly is good. The less time they spend out of the water, the better for their survivability. So it is also an awesome way to fish, and with the lighter gear, who knows, might just hook ourselves a monster and have to deal with that. Often you'll feel these guys when they bump the rod as it's going up or down. Sometimes you'll see the line just stop in mid-water, which generally means there's a fish attached to it. And sometimes, there you go, and you can see how that rod tip dipped then? So that's him inhaling it, not quite getting the hooks. Just using the rod to lift him up here. Beautiful. Not a huge fish. Just let the Overlord help him in there a little bit. And let's get that out of you, mate. See ya. Not a lot of fuss. Now, some people have a theory about not dropping your fish straight back over into the same school you caught him from because it'll spook the others. Yeah, look, I think when they're as thick as they are at the moment, I don't think that's really a big drama. As you can see, it doesn't seem to bother the other ones that are down there. You can see when you start to get them this thick on the screen, there's a pretty good chance there's a few under you. Oh, not a bad fish. And you take it on a blade. They kind of shut down a little bit. There you go. He's a bit chunkier. Nice. Round about that. Going you right in the jawbone. There we go. See you, mate. You fought valiantly. So it's obviously a good idea after you've caught a few fish like that just to check your hooks to make sure that they're still in good nick. And you can see it's not uncommon to actually lose one off of there, so just got to keep an eye on that. So sometimes when you're chasing those slightly bigger fish, it's also a good idea to switch from your vertical jigging and go back to trolling, because sometimes the bigger bait profile of a bigger, deeper diving lure might be what the bigger fish are after, and hopefully that sorts out the small ones from the big ones and gives us the best chance of trying to convert that 50. Come up here, son, we're going to take a bit of a look at you. Oh, that's a nice bass. Again, not massively huge. Pop that hook out there, son, and we'll send you on your way. See you, mate. Looking for your bigger brother. Nice solid fish, this one. I just realised he's hooked, I think. And come through that nice solid bass. Alright, this one's a real one. Absolutely hit that and ran like a racehorse. And we caught some fish today. It's got to be 25 odd fish, I suppose. Thereabouts. None of them have been monsters. That's the problem. I'm hoping for some bigger girls today, but definitely made up for it in numbers. And see, that's not a bad fish in anyone's book. That's a good 40.
I think it's a little vibration that attracts a bit on the bigger vibration.
Oh, that's a good fish. That's a better fish. Not massive, but not bad just the same.
But there's no size to anything.
Matter of sorting the wheat from the chaff. See you, buddy. Might be a slightly better one, maybe. And look at that. Oh, he is too. Around about that bit over 40. Beauty, mate. Nice little fish. See you, buddy. Well, guys, what an epic session out here on North Pine Dam today. No big girls like we were hoping. Still got a couple of lures out trolling back, so you never know your luck. But wow, fantastic jigging today. Must have caught close to between 30 and 40 fish between trolling and a bit of jigging. It's been absolutely epic. No real big girls. Biggest one went 44. Andy got himself a 46 straight off the bat. So a bit smaller around the area this time around, but just the same. What an awesome afternoon out on the water. So thanks very much for joining us, guys. Hope you learned something, and like and subscribe to the YouTube, and we'll see you guys next time out on the water.